carries.
Notice of public meeting of the City Commission of the City of Brownsville. Pursuant to Chapter 551, Title 5 of the Texas Government Code, the Texas Open Meetings Act, notice is hereby given that the City Commission of the City of Brownsville, Texas, in accordance with Article 5, Section 12 of the Charter of said city, will convene an executive session and special meeting on Tuesday, December 11, 2007, at 5:05 p.m. and 6 p.m. in the City Commission chambers on the second floor of the Brownsville City Hall Federal Building located at 1001 East Elizabeth Street, Brownsville, Cameron County, Texas. Executive session item A, discussion pursuant to Section 551.071 of the Texas Government Code regarding contemplated litigation challenging the legality of constructing a border wall. Executive session item B, discussion pursuant to Section 551.072 of the Texas Government Code regarding real property. Executive session item C, discussion pursuant to Section 551.087 of the Texas Government Code regarding economic development.
Second.
We have 2 seconds. Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Longoria, a second by Commissioners Cisneros and Triani. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. We will adjourn to executive session.
Bobby.
Commissioner Atkinson, you're wanted up here. Leave early, so would everybody please rise and flag for the Pledge of Allegiance? Pastor Andres Lewis will lead us in invocation.
Thank you. Lord, we thank you for your word. It says that the eyes of the Lord are toward the righteous and his ears are open to their cry. Father, we thank you for that promise. And, oh Lord God, we thank you tonight for our mayor and the city commission and the time that we have to recognize your significance to our city affairs. We pray tonight for ears to hear and eyes to see the needs of our city and the wisdom to meet them with justice and prudence. Lord, we ask you to enable this city commission to make decisions that will stand the test of time and cause your favor to be upon us. In the name of our Savior we pray. Amen.
I want to welcome everybody to our last meeting before the end of the year, and want to wish everybody happy holidays, a safe holiday with your family and loved ones, extended families, on behalf of the city. It's been an interesting 6 months, I guess. There's a lot of work to do. It's been challenging. And I know the coming year will bring new promises, more challenges, that I know we will face and move forward for the city, for the benefit of the city. And based on that, I want to wish everybody a happy Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year and Godspeed. And I'm going to give the opportunity to each of our commissioners to address the citizens of Brownsville in the same manner. I'll start with my right, Commissioner Atkinson. Would you like to make some comments?
Just want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and to keep your family safe and just be happy.
Happy.
I want to do the same thing, wish everyone a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Keep in mind that what we do up here is very, very important, and we do the best we can. And I ask that you have patience with us. We are doing the best we can to work together. It's not an easy task, and we were elected to do the best that we can. So just have patience with us. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, and everybody have a Happy New Year. Also, look forward to the new year. I think we're going to do some good things. I think the city is moving in the right direction. I know there's some bumps in the road, but I know that everybody up here wants to do the right thing. I know the city staff has been instrumental in assisting us, and I just want to thank everybody for all the help they've given me in my my first term as a city commissioner. And I really appreciate the city staff and the public comments and the support that we've gotten. And I know that all of you take a lot of time and effort to come out here. Really appreciate that. And I really look forward to another year, 2008. I can't believe that we're getting there, but I know that we're going to do well, and we're going to go in the right direction. Thank you.
Commissioner Longoria.
I want to take this opportunity to wish the citizens of Brownsville, on behalf of myself and my family, a very Merry Christmas. Que Dios los bendiga a cada uno de ustedes en esta temporada navideña y que siempre recordemos de qué es la temporada, que fue el nacimiento de nuestro Señor, y que la gente no se deje llevar por lo materialístico. Don't let yourself be taken over by the materialistic things of the season. It's time for family. It's time for caring for one another and remembering peace and unity within this beautiful earth that we live in. So on behalf of myself and of my family, a very Merry Christmas to everyone. Feliz Navidad. Que Dios los bendiga. Thank you.
To Mayor, my fellow commissioners, the directors, and all the employees of the City of Brownsville, and all the citizens of the City of Brownsville, on behalf of the Cisneros family, myself, just want to wish everyone a very Merry Christmas, safe holiday season to each one of you all, and wish you all good fortune and good health. And let's keep in mind that our soldiers are still at war, and let's keep them in our prayers. Thank you.
Good evening. I want to wish the citizens of Brownsville, all of our staff, the mayor, the city commission, a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. I think this has been a diverse time that we've undergone this past year. Nonetheless, I think it's a great year. I wish each and every one of us good health, and I wish all the youth to enjoy their brief time off. At the same time, I want to ask that we engage our adults and all of our leaders to help in policy making, not just for the city of Brownsville, but outside this area. It is a pleasure to continue to serve the citizens of District 4 and this entire community, and I look forward to serving another great year, and I ask for your help and your assistance, and may God bless each and every one of you all.
Thank you, Commissioners. I want to remind everybody there was some cake out there for you to have and enjoy, courtesy of H-E-B. And also our employees, the parties, the 14th, is that right, City Manager? The 15th? The 14th? The 14th? Friday. Hope everybody can attend that works for the city. This party's for you, for the hard work you've made things happen for the city of Brownsville throughout the year. We appreciate our employees. On a final note, one of the challenges we're going to be facing as a community is what it's been discussed, sometimes for or against. There's a border wall that may be coming our way. tomorrow, I want to remind people that there will be a rally at the tennis courts by the event center, starting at 4:00, 4:30, and we urge citizens to attend the rally and hopefully make your voice heard for or against the border wall. It's important that people participate in this forum. So with that, I want to urge people to please make an effort to go and take your family and make your presence known there. Thank you very much. We'll go now to item number 1. City Secretary?
Item number 1,
Oh, no, wait a second. Let's go to the public comments. I'm sorry. I need my glasses.
we don't have any.
No public comments? That's a first.
They're at another meeting.
Okay. And then let's go to the proclamations. Any proclamations? The Pan American Roundtable, 1.
The Pan American Roundtable, Commissioner Longoria will be taking that with him today.
Okay, but would you read it for the record, please?
A proclamation of the City Commission of Brownsville, Texas, recognizing Pan American Roundtable 1, celebrating 75 years. Whereas Pan American Roundtable was established in 1916 in San Antonio and is dedicated to promoting understanding and friendship among the women of the Americas, with individual table members representing each of the republics of the original Pan American Union, now the Organization of American States plus Canada. And whereas in 1932 the Pan American Roundtable 1 of Brownsville became the 5th Pan American Roundtable to be founded in Texas, and since then its membership has dedicated 75 years to the promotion of cultural understanding and education within this community. And whereas, operating within its stated mission to provide mutual knowledge, understanding, and friendship among the peoples of the Western Hemisphere, Pan American Roundtable 1 in the city of Brownsville has put together a unique collection of more than 500 costumes and indigenous dresses representative of the cultures of the Americas. And whereas the Pan American Roundtable 1 of Brownsville is also recognized as the mother of our pre-Lenten Char Days festival, and its members have dedicated their time and have shared their knowledge and have shared their own private collections for schools, local organizations, and civic events, ensuring that the collection continues to be recognized and continues to grow. Now therefore, we, the members of the City Commission of the City of Brownsville, Texas, by virtue of the authority vested by the Charter of said city, do hereby recognize and congratulate Pan American Roundtable 1 as it celebrates 75 years of existence, done on this, the 11th day of December, signed by Mayor Pat Almada and City Commission.
Okay. The next, Team Olímpico, please.
Proclamation for Team Olímpico.
Do you want to have them come up?
Yes,
Would you
please.
all please come up to the front?
Commissioner?
No,
Yeah, I think we should get down and shake their hands.
Congratulations, kids.
Well, let's go. We'll take a picture of them all. Come on.
Let me read this real quick. I want to congratulate Team Olímpico on their success, and we're glad to acknowledge your efforts. This is a proclamation of the City of Brownsville, Texas, recognizing and congratulating Team Olímpico on a near-perfect 2007 season. Whereas Brownsville Team Olímpico enjoyed a near-perfect 2007 season, finishing with 9 wins and 1 loss in its regular season in under 9 and under category for the Brownsville Youth Soccer Association, which is known as BOYSA. And whereas after regular season play ended, the team went on to compete in the Rio Grande Valley under 9 soccer playoff held at Combs, Texas, representing BOYSA at the Harlingen Combs Soccer Complex. And whereas Team Olympico played a total of 5 games, the last 2 settled by penalty kickoffs, including the championship game played against the Arroyo Youth Soccer Club's U9 team, and the resulting victory led to the team being crowned Rio Grande Valley U9 soccer champion. And whereas members of the championship team include Coach Javier Gonzalez, Javier Gonzalez, I know his dad.
He's over here someplace.
Where is he?
Oh, there you are.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry, your boy. Yeah, you did all the work, Javier. Miguel Massa, Salomon Bernardo de la Garza, Emilio de la Garza, Ángel Mayo, Gerardo Tato Vidal, Andrés Treviño, Santiago Dávila, Santiago Huerta, Carlos Garza, and Ricardo Arabati. Also coaches Mike Massa, who, by the way, works with me, Luis Dávila, and Jorge de la Garza. Now, therefore, we, the members of the City Commission of the City of Brownsville, Texas, by virtue of the authority vested by the Charter of said city, and on behalf of all the citizens, do hereby recognize and congratulate Team Olympico on its near-perfect season and on winning the 2007 Rio Grande Valley U9 Soccer Championship, and further commend the youth players and their adult coaches on a job well done on this day, the 11th of December, 2007. Signed by the mayor and commissioners. Thank you.
Congratulations.
All right. Brownsville's future.
Honorable Mayor, Commissioners, I'd like to thank you all for having us here today. I'd like to especially thank Charlie. He was instrumental in getting all this together for us. We've known each other for a long time. We work together. But like I said, on behalf of the kids, we'd like to thank everybody on behalf of our parents. We've had tremendous support from the city for Boisa, and hopefully we can continue that for our soccer parks and recreation and stuff. So these boys represented Brownsville to the very best, and they brought home the championship, so thank you. Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you, Coach.
Yeah, if you all want to take a picture, take a picture.
Brownsville's future.
That's right.
City Secretary, would you read item 21, please?
Okay.
Item 21.
Item 21, consideration and action regarding an agreement for consulting services with Business Associates International, LLC.
Honorable Mayor, Commissioners, I'm here, as the City Secretary said, asking for your consideration, action, and hopefully approval of a consulting services agreement with Business Associates International, LLC.
Move to approve, Mayor.
Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Camarillo, second by Commissioner Troyani. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed?
I will abstain.
One abstention. Commissioner Atkinson.
Thank you.
For the record, thank you very much. Okay. Let's go back to, consent items 3.
Consent agenda items A through K.
Move to approve.
Second.
A motion by Commissioner Cisneros, second by Commissioner Atkinson. All in favor?
I did, Mayor.
Commissioner Camarillo. Motion by Commissioner Camarillo, second by Commissioner Atkinson. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Item number 4.
Item 4, consideration and action to appoint members to the Brownsville Housing Authority.
Okay, I have 2 vacancies. Dr., what's his name? You gave me that name?
Agutu.
Who are they replacing, Mayor?
Dr. Raguti has not been able to make the meeting, so he asked that be removed. So, and I have Father Jerry Frank, who resigned at the last meeting. So I'm gonna appoint Andy Muniz and Chris Valadez to these two, replace these two. And these are the mayor appointments.
Number 5.
I make the motion.
I'll second. I don't know, I thought it didn't need.
Well, I think they don't require approval, but, I bring it here before the commission.
Then does that require,
Are you asking us to vote on those?
I don't know why they put the vote on that.
I mean, I'll be happy to vote on those, but
yeah.
you've got a motion and he's looking for a second. I guess Charlie seconded it, or are we now required to vote?
No, it's,
This is,
I didn't think we had a
No.
vote.
the statute refers to it directly as just being the mayor's appointment. The mayor and also the county judge make the appointments. There's, a unique Attorney General's opinion that talks about how the City Commission of Brownsville, by name, can vote to determine how removals from the board are handled, but, it's permissible for the mayor to do it just, at a public meeting like tonight where it's been properly noticed and just by announcement.
But in this case, if they're both willing to step down, then that's not really a removal.
No, it's not, that's right. It's not.
as
It's
I
not a
understand it, your first two appointments, Mayor, have not been able to make
no.
none of the meetings, have they?
No. Remember, Father Jerry, Frank was appointed to another board, so he resigned voluntarily. Dr. Raju has not been able to make the meetings, and he resigned voluntarily. He's not being removed.
No, yeah, my question was that they have not been able to attend any meetings since June, or since whenever you appointed them.
Oh, Father Jerry made the,
Did he?
oh, no, Dr. Raju has not made the,
Okay,
appointment. So that's
I'm
why.
just wondering if we're able to still, have they been conducting business at the Brownsville Housing Authority?
Oh, yes.
Because
Yeah, the reason, if he cannot attend, obviously, we would welcome his resignation to do that. But, for some reason, city attorney, they keep putting action on these items when they shouldn't do it.
Well, I guess that's the question I have, is are we supposed to vote on
keep talking
his
about that.
recommendation?
I don't think so.
No, it's not required under the statute.
Let's just move to number 5.
No, but I mean, as a courtesy to my commission, I bring it here before you,
Right.
because I want you to know who's going on these boards, because you may have an issue you want to address there, and you need to know who's on the board. That's why I'm doing it.
Okay, let's
I
do it.
have repeatedly instructed the city manager to make sure they take out the word action, but they repeatedly keep putting it on there with the word action. I can't control that. The city attorney can control it.
we'll tell his action.
But anyway, okay, so I have, Chris Valdez and Eddie Moniz. We have,
Number
motion.
Mayor,
five.
one- Mayor,
Number
one
5.
question.
Let's go to number 5.
Pardon me?
Let's just move to number 5.
Mayor, one question. On, to be determined, Abraham Galansky, is that still is he
He's still on there.
So to be determined means that, the term hasn't been decided yet, or?
The term has not been won?
It says here on the document, to be determined, TBD.
I'm not sure if I can interrupt,
Is that
Mayor.
just an error, Jim, or?
Mr.
To
Galansky
be
was on
dethroned.
both the, Planning and Zoning Commission and on the Brownsville Housing Authority. He was, I advised him he could not stay on both. My understanding was that he was going to withdraw from Planning and Zoning and stay on the Brownsville Housing Authority, but I'm not sure if there's been a final decision.
Well, I'll get with him over the holidays and see what,
May
if
already know.
there's
I
a
think we need to determine
conflict.
that, Jim.
Pardon me?
Pardon me?
Yeah, I think we need to make that determination. I just see TBD. I didn't know what that,
That's
to
probably
be
what
determined.
that's referring to.
I'll get over, Commissioner, with him over the holidays, okay? Okay, so we have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Nay.
Nate,
We got a nay. Okay, for the record, record the nays.
Troyani, nay.
Longoria, nay.
Cisneros, Nate.
Camarillo.
Okay.
Nay.
Leo Garza.
Okay, you got 5 nays, okay. So you have 2 ayes, okay? It's not an action item, but just an acknowledgement, or not an acknowledgement,
So
okay?
what is
Item
this?
5,
Let me ask something real quick.
I don't know.
So they're
Confusing
appointed,
because-
but
They're
Commission's
appointed,
not gonna
but
acknowledge.
we're saying that we object to one or both, based on our nay.
they don't agree.
they can still serve though, right?
Oh, yeah, they can still
Yes,
serve.
he has the appointment. We're simply voicing our opinion.
Okay.
That's good. There's nothing wrong with that.
Okay.
They don't want, acknowledge my appointment, that's okay. Item number 5.
Item number 5, consideration and action on the possibility of removing a Parks and Recreation Advisory Committee member and appointing a replacement.
I believe this was one of the issues last meeting where Eric Holloway went to the 4B. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay,
We
well,
need to
I
have a
would move to
replacement.
appoint Jeff Wild.
Second.
Okay, you have a motion by Commissioner Triani, a second by Commissioner Snells, is that right? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Item number 6.
Item 6, consideration and action to appoint one member to the Capital Improvement Advisory Committee.
Mayor, City Commission, the term for Mr. Jose Herrera,
No,
We're on
we're on
Kayak.
6.
We're
Kayak.
kayak.
We're on number 6.
I'm sorry, okay, Ms. Nora Pompa has resigned.
Who has?
Commissioner, that was Commissioner
That was
Longoria.
Commissioner Longoria's appointment.
I move to appoint Mr. Joe de la Fuente.
Second.
Who resigned?
Ms. Nora Pompa.
Oh, okay. That's right, I read that. Commissioner, Longoria makes a motion, second by Commissioner Cisneros.
Correct.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Item number 7, please.
Item number 7, consideration and action to appoint or reappoint one member to the Greater Brownsville Incentives Corporation.
In this case, Mr. Jose Herrera's term is up this month. He would like to continue to serve. Under the book of the City Secretary, that appointment was made by Mayor Trevino.
Okay, you're saying this is my appointment?
Well, I'm saying it was that Mayor
No,
Trevino
he
made
just
that
made that
appointment,
appointment.
but, anybody in
I'll
the
make a
area-
motion to
I move to
reappoint.
reappoint.
I don't have any issue. Does he
No.
wanna, continue
Yes,
to
he
serve?
does.
I'll move to reappoint.
Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Cisneros, second by Commissioner Atkinson. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Item number 8.
Item number 8, public hearing and action to reconsider Class L permit number CL 2007-003 to allow a game arcade at 855 West Elizabeth Street, Brownsville, Texas.
Honorable Mayor and City Commission, this Class L permit was, discussed and considered and denied on the, December 12th meeting. This, action is being brought back for reconsideration. It is a Class L, it's an arcade. They submitted a site plan, with parking spaces, the appropriate parking spaces, the hours of operation, employees, that would be on the site. This is a public hearing for your consideration again.
It's a public hearing. Do we have any for or against? Please come forward, state your name, and state your position, please.
Honorable Mayor, Commissioners, my name is Craig Timmer. You saw me here last week. I'm here again. Before I get into this, though, I do want to say Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to each and all of you, just as you had with us.
Thank you.
Once again, I'm here supporting our West Brownsville Neighborhood Association, and with your approval, I would like to recognize the members that were able to make it here tonight. We're a fairly strong organizational group, and we're very, very concerned about the quality of our neighborhoods, and there are certain kinds of businesses that we do not encourage. One of those would be businesses that encourage drinking, like bars and wet restaurants. And even so, that this particular organization is not a bar or a drinking establishment. We do feel that a gambling establishment, which is what it is not appropriate for a neighborhood. The establishment is well within 100 feet of several residences, and it's right on a road, a side street, where a number of children from the apartment houses across Elizabeth have to walk in order to attend school over at Skinner Elementary. And we don't think that that's an appropriate kind of a business that these children would have to proceed past. Based on information that you heard from Chief Garcia last week, there are a number of these. I believe his quote was 27 of the current 32 numbers of establishments that are under investigation for a variety of things. And granted, these are not all necessarily illegal gambling, but they include such things as electrical problems, parking problems, and I guess, you know, not speaking for the owner, but if people are letting electrical problems go on in an establishment where the public goes to gamble, I think that that's something that these folks need to be aware of, so that they know that they might be caught in a major fire or some other kind of a problem. If the commission is quite serious about item 16 tonight, and it is on the agenda for your approval, I really don't see any positive reason from our perspective to allow this particular one. So as the West Brownsville Neighborhood Association, we are asking again that you deny this permit. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you.
Move to close public comment?
Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Atkinson to close public hearing.
You don't have anything to say?
Well, the only thing I have to say about it is that, I mean, I've checked with our legal counsel and stuff like that. What's happening here is we're basically saying you're guilty before we even allow you to open up. I don't think this commission should send that message and be an enforceable commission. I think we have, our police who can effectively do that, and they have been doing. I commend the chief for his efforts, but as a body of commission, I don't think we should be in the, I don't think we should take that role as a commission to enforce for certain and not for others. You know, we passed 3 that were the same way, specific use, and we haven't gotten any complaints from any of those people around there. Actually, I don't think we've gotten even 1 complaint. So that's you know, P&Z unanimously voted for it. The people went through a process where they spent over $10,000 to comply with the city and the guidelines. You know, they spent money. They followed what the city asked them to do, and to be unanimously approved, and especially when we have strict guidelines at the P&Z. Therefore, that's why I thought it was important to bring it back up, because, you know, to avoid any legal action and to protect the citizens from any lawsuits. This means, and until we start like a committee, like Commissioner Cisneros
And I was gonna
talked about, where we can start a committee, put the chief in charge of it with some other people, and figure out a way to handle this issue. But until then, I don't think we should be doing what we're doing, where we say it's okay for one and not another, when they both went through the process the right way, and they're both not violating the law. Therefore, I move to close.
Well,
public-
Well,
just a second.
let me make a
I wanna have
comment real
I
quick.
wanna say something too.
Let's
Go ahead.
allow-
Okay, let me just make a comment real quick. I think, I see the point that Commissioner Atkinson was saying too as well, that these guys went through the process and got the permits and they went through the P&Z board. I think that we do need to draw the line though, and the chief has brought up some concerns. I don't wanna judge anybody either, you know, before the trial or whatever, but I wanna make sure that we do this right, and if it's becoming that much of a concern, then we do need to maybe look at, you know, item 16, put a moratorium, or maybe, I know, Chief, I don't know how you feel, I wanna sit down with you and talk to you about maybe starting a committee, having you on it. I don't know if that's the proper way to do it. I'm just saying that this has opened up other options, and we need to start looking at this very closely.
Mayor, I want to make a couple of comments, and Commissioner Netos and Commissioner Atkinson, I understand where you come from on the issue. I don't agree with the notion that, well, it's always been done this way, therefore, you know, let's keep doing it that way. I don't think that's the way city should operate. I also don't agree that we should approve one and go on and then do a moratorium thereafter once this one has gone in. I don't agree with that as well. I think there's been some clear and legitimate issues that have been brought up why this might not be right for Brownsville. And again, I think if we just look at solely that it's in violation of our own ordinance that's been in place, that's what it should be merited on, as opposed to, well, we think that they're running something illegal. Well, we obviously don't know, or I'm sure we will know down the road. But I think nonetheless it should be based on, are we abiding by the ordinance that we have in place? And I think that's what we need to look at here. And then at the same time, again, hopefully draw the line down the road with some better understanding of what we should do, whether it's a moratorium or not. But I don't think we should just say, well, it's always been done, so let's just let this one slide in and go from there.
Well,
I
it's
don't
not
agree.
really just that, it's the fact that it's not illegal to open one up. I mean, that's where I'm going on. It's, you know, we, it's like Commissioner Sinel said, we're trying to crucify somebody before they even did it, and, I mean, if we did that, then I think we're sending the wrong message. Now, if we do things right, and start a committee, and let it go through that, then we can come back and say, look, this is what it's gonna be, and this is how it's gonna be. But until we do that, you know, we're just following the law.
What I would like to know is what the city ordinance calls. Mr. John Chosey, I asked you to do some research. Did you do that, sir? on the legal, for instance, I'm for granting this thing only if the applicant understands that if he violates the law, and I understand there's a state statute, and if he violates the law, this permit will be revoked immediately and don't ever come back for another permit.
Commissioner, it's my understanding that this is up for a Class L because it doesn't conform to what the law what our ordinance requires as far as the location of the arcade. That's my understanding, that's why it's coming before you. Normally, if the area is properly zoned, the person gets a permit from the state, and then gets an occupancy permit from the city of Brownsville, fixes up their building, it passes building inspection, and they can go ahead and set up the arcade. But this is before you because, as I understand it, it doesn't fit precisely the zoning. That's why I went through the planning and zoning committee and so forth.
I move to close public hearing.
Hold on one second. I mean, essentially, to answer Mr. Gattis's question, or Commissioner Gattis's question, the problem is its location next to the neighborhood. If it were away from a neighborhood and it were in a commercial designated area, then there wouldn't be a problem. It wouldn't be before us. Because it's something unusual, this is the reason that we are asked to vote on it. And one of the things that I'm not going to vote on this issue because I'm involved in litigation representing other entities, and I wouldn't be able to decide on this specific issue, on this, with this
Keep
type.
in mind, Commissioner Garza, that the last three we approved was the same way. It's a specific use permit. And I went to go check out this place. It's right there on Central and Elizabeth. There's businesses around it. There's a Kerr McGee right in front of it. You know, it's right there. It's in a place where businesses are. You know what I mean? That's why, I looked at it. Therefore, that's why I brought it back.
So, Mr. Tran, you gonna abstain because of conflict?
I'm abstaining, and I abstained last time because of a conflict, and I'm not going to vote on it either.
Okay. You represent clients with the arcade or whatever, so that you don't want to vote.
Well, without getting into who I represent or don't, it would be a conflict for me.
Okay, so we'll note it. Okay, do we have a motion we have a motion by Commissioner Atkinson to close public hearing?
Second.
We have a second by Commissioner Camarillo. All in favor, close? Aye. All
Mayor.
opposed? All opposed to close? Motion carries.
I move to approve this item and to really set up this committee and see where we can go to handle this issue in a better way.
Well, let's just stick to you make a motion to approve the item. The other item will come up, okay? We have a motion to approve by Commissioner Atkinson. Do we have a second? We have a second by Commissioner Cisneros. All in favor?
Aye.
I'll go ahead and vote on
With
it.
the ayes, show your ayes.
I'm gonna vote aye, but a conditional aye. We need to put a stop to this. We need to do a moratorium. This is getting out of hand. I don't like it. I'm gonna withdraw my A and abstain.
Okay, so is it an aye or is it an abstention?
I'm gonna abstain.
Okay. All against?
Nay.
Nay.
Got 2 nays, 3 abstentions, and 2 ayes.
And yours, Mayor?
Abstention.
You're abstain?
Since and we've had this problem before, since it's an ordinance, it would require a majority of the entire commission to pass, correct?
Correct, but I think would you agree with me, Mr. Goza, that an abstention is a vote?
Abstention is by definition not a vote. So you only have, I didn't catch the count, but I think you have only 2 or 3 people in
But you need 4 ayes.
It'd be a deadlock.
4 people voting in favor of them, any
The way we vote, it's a deadlock.
to pass. So
Well, I'm kind of curious. I thought an abstention was
A no
basically
vote.
you're not participating in the debate. So at this point, it's 2 and 2, correct?
Yeah.
that's right. The vote is 2 and 2. But as I said, the ordinance requires a majority of the entire commission to pass. So 4 people have to vote in favor of any ordinance for it to pass. 5 people seated.
Okay. Let's go.
So it fails.
It fails.
It failed. First he voted for it, then he voted abstained. Weird. Okay, so we have, item number 9.
Item number 9, public hearing and action on first reading of ordinance number 2007-1100.45 to amend the city subdivision ordinance by authorizing the planning and zoning department to process and expedite minor plat approval.
Honorable Mayor and City Commissioner, with this particular ordinance, the planning department, with approval of the Planning and Zoning Commission, which have approved, this ordinance, or recommended for your approval, basically, we get from time to time small family subdivisions, no more than 4 lots. The state statute does allow for the, plat administrator or the, director of planning to expedite the approval of these plats. These are no more than 4 lots. It has to be on a public street, no creation of new streets. The utilities have to be in place. So basically what we're doing is expediting so where the individual family or developer can go through the process much faster instead of going through the whole P&Z process. So we're asking for your approval on this particular ordinance. I think it will be a benefit to the citizens of Brownsville.
This is a public hearing. Anybody for or against?
Ben, are you also the plat, coordinator or administrator?
No, Mr. Noah Puga is the plat administrator. I'm the director of planning. So I could either delegate it to him or I can do it myself.
Can we have a motion close?
Close? Second.
Okay, motion closed by Commissioner Longoria, second by Commissioner Camarillo. All in favor to close? Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. This is an action item. Can I have a motion to?
Would approve? Second.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Longoria, second by Commissioner Cisneros. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Let's go to item 15.
Item 15, consideration and action on resolution number 2007-072, designating Gladys Porter Zoo officials to submit a grant application with the Texas Parks and Wildlife Department Outdoor Recreation Grants Program.
Members of the commission, the resolution is as stated. It authorizes the officials of the Gladys Porter Zoo to submit a grant application. Dr. Birchfield is here to explain the item to you more fully.
Honorable Mayor, Commissioners, on behalf of the Gladys Porter Zoo staff, the Valley Zoological Society, we want to thank all of you for your generous support, the citizens of Brownsville, in helping us to keep the Gladys Porter Zoo one of the top zoos in the country. And in that spirit, we're asking that, working in concert with the City Parks Department, that we be designated to apply for a grant nestled within the Texas Parks and Wildlife Outdoor Recreational Grants Program. We are owned by the City of Brownsville. We are a zoological and botanical park, and this particular matching grant is nestled in the Texas Parks and Wildlife Parks grant program. So what we're asking is that we be designated to submit this grant proposal.
Can you, it seems odd to me, and maybe it's because I'm new at this, but why would you need our permission if you're already the designated park, or you're designated as a park within our community?
The City of Brownsville Parks Department must apply for the permit directly.
Okay.
For the grant.
And that would be at the exclusion of other parks, or would that?
No, it's not at the exclusion of other parks, but it's just putting a little definitional language in there, recognizing the zoo as a city park and botanical park.
It's a joint partnership. Joint partnership.
Yes.
So you just need us to say that it's okay for you to apply for the grant, and that would be it?
That's it.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, a motion by Commissioner Cisneros, second by Commissioner Garza. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Item 16.
Item 16, consideration and action on resolution number 2007-073 to authorize a moratorium on the issuance of building permits to be used for the construction of businesses designated to operate 8-liners and or similar types of gaming devices.
Mayor, members of the City Commission, I was asked to draft a moratorium that would limit or do away with any permitting for additional arcades or gaming establishments. But before we discuss the language of the resolution, I'd like to give you a little bit of additional background as to how this currently works in the city. As Mr. Chosey pointed out earlier, the applicant that you had before you tonight was unique in that he was seeking a Class L special use permit. And the reason for that is because the type of business he wanted to open didn't fit within the zone that he was located in. The majority of these gaming operations that are currently open never come before the City Commission because they're simply another business that fits in under the zoning ordinances, and no special permitting is required for them to open. The only real kind of licensure that takes place is that owners of these arcades have to register each individual machine with the state of Texas annually, and in turn they get what amounts to like an inspection sticker. Then our policy here at the city is that anyone who has a machine and is been given permission by the state to own and operate the machine comes to us, shows us proof of ownership, and also shows us that they've been issued a state permit, at which time we charge them $15 and issue them a city permit for that individual machine. Obviously, we don't have any knowledge or any way of knowing how they manage the machine after it's been given the permit by the city, and that just falls like any business under the Texas Penal Code and criminal statutes. But it's made it more difficult, I think, in a planning and zoning and enforcement areas, because these types of businesses, as someone pointed out in the public hearing, have other unique features that kind of go along with them. They tend to attract a large number of people per square foot. The parking is often kind of on a different scale than you would expect for other commercial businesses, just generically. And so those kind of unique characteristics make them a little bit different to deal with them as entities. And that's the backdrop that this moratorium was drafted in. It's really only would be a stopgap measure. I mean, in the end, we would still be looking at a committee or some means of determining who got to open an arcade and who did not. The way it's been done traditionally and up until now has just been by zone. If it was in a commercial zone and it was otherwise a business permitted by the state of Texas, we've allowed it. If they operated outside the law, then enforcement came in and we closed them and confiscated the machines or did whatever we would do with any other type of illegal activity.
What I want to say, and I'm the one that called you on this. My issue with this is like the lottery. All this money goes back to Texas, and it's supposed to be going to nonprofits. Well, from what I hear, it goes straight to the general fund. Why can't we do something down here to maybe regulate this to where it comes back to the city? I mean, as far as
well, they're
you know what I'm saying, though?
Well, they're privately owned and privately operated. We can charge an additional fee, but only in it so far as that's what's required. You know, that's the required expense for the city to oversee the issuance of these permits and the enforcement of our zoning ordinances. We can't make a profit because we're allowing them to come in here. We can charge what it costs us to license them, to inspect them, and so forth, which is probably more than $15 per machine. But there's not a way for us to.
What does the city get from these machines? I know
$15.
$15 per machine.
That's nothing.
I don't know if sales tax for anything that the businesses buy, any people they employ.
No, I don't think they pay sales tax.
It's another commercial business with respect to their legal activity.
Yeah, the problem I have with this, that either we allow it or we don't allow it. It's got to be fair to everybody. And my position is based on the known fact that there's a preponderance of illegal activity associated with these kind of establishments. I mean, you know, you see a bunch of senior citizens going there who think there's nothing wrong with it, but that money's going back. In some instances,
it's not true, man.
You can't presuppose guilt.
Yeah.
That's the whole problem.
I think it's going back.
And you know what?
They're not paying federal taxes. They're not paying state taxes.
Mayor, you can go on the internet and buy 50 machines right now.
Commissioner.
And I don't belong to the East Coast organized crime.
Okay.
I can buy 50 of them right now.
And,
We require a
I'm just
bond.
giving you what I believe to be. So I want to, either we allow it or we don't allow it, make it fair to everybody. My position is that, based on the history the chief of police has had, there's a lot of illegal activity going on with these establishments. So, I mean, no matter, you can look the other way, but the record speaks for itself. I don't have to say it.
Our office has contacted Texas Municipal League to ask them for any guidance they have, because they, of course, represent and defend cities all over the state. And they sent us a model ordinance, which is in place in a little small town, only 800 people. They consider it the best example of draftsmanship for how other cities have tried to deal with the problem. We can, if the city commission wants us to come back with.
So what I would like to
some
see
sort of
done,
ordinance,
if
do that.
it's the wishes of the commission, is either ban them completely, or have a workshop, listen to pros and cons, and make a decision. Are we gonna allow it or not, and under what circumstances, and what is the city gonna get back in return that is fair? Because it's taking resources from public safety to monitor these things that's very costly to us. That instead of protecting public safety, they're over here trying to, keep an eye on illegal activity.
But you just said it. As a customs officer on the border, I knew a lot of elderly women and well-to-do Mexicans that would come over and play. I know there's a lot of winter Texans. They're coming in. They're going to play. And some of these people, yeah, they are less fortunate. But some of these people will never see Las Vegas. And so they'll play here, and it's fun to them. It's nothing like playing chalupa or toma todo. You know what I mean? People play it all the time in their houses. You know what I mean? But what I want to do with this moratorium is to put Texas Hold'em matches. But we can put a moratorium, create a committee, find out where we are, what we can do. Maybe the city can make money off of this to where, because from what I was told, they can open up one without commission approval if they're in a commercial zone, right? They don't even need to come here. There's about 40, 50 of them, or 30 of them that don't even have to come before us. How do we regulate them? That's the issue that I'm bringing forward.
Part of the problem is that they're already regulated. They're regulated by the state. The state regulates them. They authorize them to do business, and they're just like any other commercial business within our community, as long as they comply with our ordinances. Isn't that correct, Jim?
The state gives them, as I said, a permit for each individual machine, and that they have to show proof of ownership to the state, and some sort of documentation that it works correctly, it's not rigged somehow. Beyond that, the state doesn't license them to open an arcade or anything of that sort. They just approve and give a permit annually for each individual machine.
And the state does not have to monitor the illegal activity.
We can't tax them and presuppose a tax on basically
That's why
what we're
we
condoning.
pay a lot on
you know,
police.
Well, I guess what Mr. Atkinson is proposing is that we have some other tax, but you can't tax them unless you're going to presuppose that there's some illegal activity that would generate some greater revenue than what would already be demonstrated by a legitimate business.
Well, just like with responding to public records requests or in anything that the city has to expend time and energy to do, we can, and it's a commercial process, we can recover our costs and our expenses that are required for the city to oversee a certain type of business. And in this case, there may be increased amounts, but we'd have to be able to document that to justify increasing the costs for us to allow them to come in.
Commissioner Tran, are you advocating for this?
No, I'm not advocating. I'm simply discussing.
I'm asking. He says he's abstaining, so I'm wondering.
You asking if he's in favor?
Commissioner, I'm asking.
I thought this was a discussion.
Yeah.
I don't know what's your problem.
No, I don't have a problem, man.
Okay.
I'm telling you
I thought this
because
was a
It sounds like
discussion.
he's advocating for it, but yet he's saying that he's abstaining, so I'd like to know what he's doing, that's all.
Well, what I'm doing is asking a question because it was a little confusing how you were going to tax something that was already authorized by the state. That's where I was confused.
Abstaining to me tells me you're not supposed to get involved, but I guess I don't understand what
Well,
abstaining means.
have I voted on it?
Okay, conflicts of interest are defined differently by different people. Let's go on. What do we do? What is the wishes of the commission? You want to have a public public workshop and hear from both sides, or do you want to pass a moratorium as presented by the the city attorney, or do you want to just ban them all together?
Jim, could you,
Or do you wanna make allowances?
speaking, could you draft out a workshop for the first meeting in January?
Be happy to.
Get together with the chief of police, whatever information we have in that ordinance, draft it out for us in the presentation, so that we can see what we have on there.
Yeah.
What is allowed in these establishments, if they're to continue, what is allowed in them? Maybe there's some information there that we haven't seen. Maybe there's some information that, in order to make a decision, I need to see that type of information. So, my recommendation would be that if we were to come back in January with a full workshop, with a full explanation, and then with an action item to make the decision, if we're to continue with the moratorium, I think that would be able to give people an opportunity to voice their opinions and to bring their discussions forward, and we can therefore make some sort of a decision and come to some sort of a conclusion with it.
But Commissioner, you said to continue the moratorium. There's no moratorium in place.
No moratorium, I didn't say that.
I said to continue the moratorium.
For us to have a workshop
Yes, I understood that.
and discuss what's gonna go
Okay, so
on.
there's no moratorium, nobody's...
Mr. Goes, could we hold the property owners responsible also? Can we,
The owners of the equipment are usually who's
the building...
held responsible
whoever
if
owns the building, for example.
Chief?
it's ordinarily the people that own the machines that are charged if there's illegal activity.
If the property owner knowingly, and that is hard to prove, knows that there's going to be illegal activity, can we hold them
Mayor, yes, you
responsible?
can. Under the Nuisance Abatement Act, you can.
I can't hear you.
Under the Nuisance Abatement Act, you can. Okay? It's a state law that allows property owners or advises property owners that if they continue to foster or rent to people that run illegal activities, you can actually go after their property, have it seized and forfeited under the Nuisance Abatement Act.
Thank you, Chief.
Taking all this into account, it may be preferable for us to, as Commissioner Longoria suggested, post a public workshop and give you more of an outline of what is currently in place, and also give you a copy of the ordinance that we received just today from TML and how other cities have handled these problems, and try to go from there. Because in any event, a moratorium is a stopgap measure. It's not going to be something we can hold in place indefinitely without some sort of additional justification for it.
I concur, public workshop, it would be the way to go. That way you hear from citizens from both sides, and then we can be more defined of how to best regulate them or ban them altogether.
Move to table.
Well, we have
Second.
a motion to table. Second by Commissioner Garza. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion carries to table. Okay, now we go to the next item.
Item 17, consideration and action to authorize the city manager and city attorney to negotiate a fee agreement with the city of McAllen and all other interested parties to retain attorney Jim Blackburn and Associates to provide legal assistance in the opposition of the construction of a border wall.
Mayor, members of the City Commission, spoke today with Kevin Pagan, the city attorney for McAllen. In their city commission meeting last night, City of McAllen voted to earmark $25,000 of matching funds to, they believe, be matched by the Texas Border Coalition, and to pledge that to support our efforts to initiate some sort of litigation here in Brownsville. Their offer, I think, was premised on the idea that we would in turn match that amount as well, although I don't know if they specified that. But because of the fact that the federal government intends to initiate condemnation proceedings before the end of the year, we won't have another meeting before the federal government has actually initiated some type of judicial action to further the development of this plan. And for that reason, I would recommend that the Commission at least match the startup money that McAllen, hopefully the Texas Border Coalition has pledged to help us try to, if not prevent the wall from coming, at least to have more control and more say-so about how it's implemented. Because in speaking to our federal representatives, apparently they feel at this point that they've not been able to to be heard on our behalf. And while no one really wants to style this as, you know, the United States government versus the city of Brownsville, we're left at a disadvantageous bargaining position when we're told that the federal government is going to initiate condemnation proceedings against private landowners to build a wall here, when we're in fact not even clear on what the plan is. And McAllen is sufficiently concerned about it, even though it doesn't go through their city limits or even their extraterritorial jurisdiction, to initiate an action which would support our efforts to oppose that here locally. And for that reason, I would ask that the City Commission would consider matching the amount that's been pledged by, at least the amount that's been pledged by the City of McAllen, hopefully to be matched by Texas Border Coalition and El Paso and Laredo as well.
Jim, and they've already done that, right? McAllen and the Texas Border Commission have already said that they're going to put up $25,000. Is that correct?
McAllen did last night. I understood some time back that the Texas Border Coalition had indicated their willingness to do so, but I don't know if they've taken public action to do it. McAllen has.
Okay. I would move to approve the $25,000.
We're talking about matching funds here, right?
Matching funds.
25,000?
What it is, 50,000 with McAllen's, the way McAllen structured it is, they're putting up 25,000 with matching funds from the rest of the communities, which would be 50,000.
75 if you consider the Texas
No,
border.
it would be 50,000 for our 50,000 in essence. That's the way I understood it.
Is it in our best interest
So that'd be
to
about 100,000.
at least match?
Trying to help Brownsville, that's what it is.
Well, I guess just for the breakdown's sake, so that we all understand, it was my understanding that McAllen was going to put in $25K, and the Texas Border Coalition was going to put in $25K. Brownsville would put in $25K. That'd be $75K we'd have for legal fees at this point.
No.
That was my understanding of the...
That's how I understood as well. I don't think, from what I understood from Kevin Pagan today when I spoke to him by phone, they were not, if we did not match their funds, they were not inclined to withdraw them. It's not my understanding. I may be mistaken about
Well,
that.
I would move to approve that, where we each put $25,000 into it, and then we can negotiate with the attorneys or the law firm that we're considering and go step by step from there.
And if you'll give myself or the city manager authority to enter into an agreement based on that, then hopefully they'll be able to start before the end of the year.
And that would be my motion, that we
I second
provide
that
authority.
Just so you'll know, the funding from the rest of TBC is coming before, on the agenda. It hasn't been decided.
Okay, so at least McAllen has 25,000 and we would have 25,000, so we'd be at 50,000 net at this point.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
That's my understanding.
I'll second.
We have a motion, a second by Commissioner...
Seconded the motion.
We have a motion by Commissioner Troyani and second by Commissioner Cisneros. Commissioner Garza. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Commissioner Garza made, second the motion, City Secretary.
I'm gonna abstain from this last one.
Okay, next item, please.
Item 18,
Thanks.
consideration
Get
and
that,
action.
Stella?
Yes. Consideration and action on resolution number 2007-074 to authorize the purchase of certain real property described as lots 4 and 5 of block 305 of El Jardín re-subdivision and designating signatories for the city of Brownsville.
Members of the City Commission, we're asking the City Commission's approval to make an offer of just compensation to the owner of this property. We're acquiring the property for the purpose of carrying out the Part 150 program of the city, and it's also associated with a potential runway extension in the future. The amount is $6,444. Be happy to address any questions you have.
Move to approve.
We have a motion to approve by
Second.
Commissioner Garza, second by Commissioner Troyani. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Item 19, please, City Secretary.
Item 19, consideration and action to acknowledge the Finance Director's financial statements and cash investment report for the City of Brownsville for fiscal year ended September 30th, 2007.
Honorable Mayor, members of the City Commission, this is just an acknowledgement of the financial report for the fiscal year that just ended, September 30th, 2007. This financial reports that are being presented to you are unofficial, unaudited. They're currently being audited by our external auditor, Long Shilton. I have a by the way, there is a report that has been prepared for you. This is a more detailed information included in this report, but it lists all the operating funds. It also lists all the capital project funds, as well as all the investments that the city made during fiscal year 2007. The first slide shows the general fund. It compares 2006 with 2007, and the most important part there is the fund balance. At the end of 2007, we had 17,329,145. The budget that was for 2007 indicated that our fund balance was going to be 10,312,806. Obviously, we surpassed that number. This particular slide compares the budget, final budget, with the actual numbers in the general fund, and as you can see, most of the revenues were met. We actually received $895,771 more in revenues than were actually budgeted. A particular note there is that there were some decreases in two categories, or three categories. One was the intergovernmental, the licenses and permits, and then the miscellaneous. On the expense side, this is where we came out real good. We had a budget of $85 million plus in expenses. The final expense total was almost $79 million, and that's the reason why we had a stronger fund balance than what we had anticipated. This particular slide gives you a comparison between fiscal year 2006 and 2007. Again, this is still the general fund, and we see that we generated $4.8 million more in FY 2007 versus 2006, but we also expensed $8.2 million between fiscal year 2007 and 2006 by $8.2 million. And again, we actually, if you look at the very bottom, we started the year with a fund balance of $18,317,375, and again, the $17,329,144 at the end of fiscal year 2007 is still unofficial, unaudited number. So we actually dropped $988,231 between FY 2006 and 2007. This particular slide shows again, there's a misprint on top. It should be 2007 actual. This gives you a percentage of where the money comes from in the general fund. The number one revenue source for the general fund is sales tax, and that's the reason why we're very, very, very careful when we prepare budgets, when we deal with sales tax, because it's almost 29% of our general fund budget that is generated from sales tax, and that's followed by property tax, and then the third one being fees and services. On the expense side, the number one category of expenditures is the public safety. That's 55.36% of the general fund. At the very bottom, we have a reserve of 20.65%. This is very, very important, especially when we issue debt. That's one of the areas that the rating agencies look at. We want to make sure that we're at least above 15%. We have a 20.65% at the end of the year. Again, unofficial. This is another slide where it shows the revenues versus expenses, where we actually had more expenses of $988,230. This is another slide that shows the budget versus the actual. What was our positive variance? And the positive variance was $7 million, which is listed at the very bottom. This is a history of the general fund revenues and expenses going back to '93 all the way to 2007. And as you can see, all those years we've done well. with the exception of, let's say 93, we were below 15%, and we were also below during fiscal year 2002 as far as reserves. We ended the year again with a 20-plus reserve. This slide shows the budget on the left side, the second column versus the actual, and as you can see, we had a positive variance of $7 million. This particular slide shows, I know that this is something that we have discussed before regarding streets budget. This particular slide shows you the actual amount that was spent on street construction in 2007. That's $7,224,821. This consists of various funds. We have the general fund that provides funding for streets, community development, and we also have various bond funds. Total amount again, 2007 was $7,224,821. The budget for 2008, I know that we've heard negative things that we were not appropriating enough funds for streets. We have some money that was that's being carried over from various bond funds. So our allocation for 2008 is a little over $14 million. At the center of that particular slide, it shows we do have a department in the general fund called the Street and Mains Department, and this is where we had a decrease between fiscal year 2007 and the proposed 2008 budget of $1.5 million. Our proposal for the coming year, like we did last year, some of you were not here, but last year we did end the year with a better fund balance, and I'm speaking between fiscal year 2005 and 2006, that we went ahead, or the City Commission went ahead and allocated additional funds from the surplus funds for street construction, and again, that's going to be a possibility again in 2008. So we can add more money for streets because that's one of our critical areas that most citizens that desire to have.
So all total, how much do we have for streets?
Right now, Mayor, if you look at that column, the first one, 2008, now, $14,000,008.
Okay.
Most of this particular monies have already been contracted out to various contractors.
Just but for our viewers, go ahead.
No, it was 14.6.
Okay, 14, I just couldn't see it. Thank you.
But for our viewers, City Manager, how many miles does this translate to? Más o menos. Estimate.
Street Mayor, if we contracted out to a contractor about a year ago or so, we were averaging $1 million per mile.
Yeah, but doing it in-house the way we're doing it.
Well, we're not doing them all in-house. We're outsourcing some and do it as much as possible in-house.
Okay. So what do you estimate how many miles we'll do with a 14.6?
14 miles.
Hopefully we can, if we utilize our resources, we can hopefully get to 18 or 20.
18, 20 miles. Okay. That's pretty good. Thank you.
This particular pie chart, again, shows where the money comes from, revenue sources that the general fund generates or generated during fiscal year 2007. Again, the number one was sales tax of $23.6 million, or 28.55% of all the general fund. This is the pie chart of the expenses, and again, the number one expenditure is public safety, a little over 55%.
Pete, can you go back to the other one? Brownsville Public Utilities Board was how much? To the previous.
Let me go back to another slide, Commissioner, to show you that we did had an increase in our surplus funds from the PUB. On this particular slide, you'll see surplus funds from the Brownsville Public Utilities Board. In 2006, we had $6,182,695, and in 2007, we had $6,324,353. Now, we had a different budget number during this particular year that, here we go. We had a budget, in 2007, as surplus funds from the PUB of 5,692,207. The final number, and again, this is still unaudited, we have a 632,146 positive variance, meaning that the PUB transferred $632,000 plus more than what we had budgeted in our 2007 budget.
Thank you. And before you go further, this is for the viewers also. I mean, the 18 miles that we could pave with those 14.6 miles will be leveraged next year with perhaps, if the voters approve, the committee gets together and we get the support to do a bond program, which will be an additional avenue to pursue to meet those needs that the citizens spoke of through Brownsville 2020, which is drainage and street paving that's a concern of the citizens. I want the citizens to know that we are working. It's not as fast as we would like to, but we're not out of money. We already have money to continue with the project of paving. Okay?
Thank you, Mayor. And we do have $5 million that is still outstanding from the 2001 bond that we are going to bring before you sometime this year so that we can issue those remaining outstanding bonds.
Because a lot of people feel like we're not doing enough. It's ongoing already. We'd like to do more.
We're doing more than anybody's ever done, period.
So, I mean, you know, it's good that people know this because it's unfortunate some people think that we're not doing it when we are. Thank you.
One of the revenue sources that we monitor on a regular basis, obviously, sales tax. We had a 6.66% increase between FY 2006 and 2007. This is a graph that shows the sales tax from 96 all the way through 2007. Again, being very conservative in our projections for 2008. And there are reasons for that. Way back in, again, I always bring this up, 82, we had a major devaluation in the peso. We're so close to our neighbors south of us that a negative economic impact that they have, we feel it. And we saw that in right after the 82 peso devaluation. As you can see, we went down in 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88. We actually didn't recover until 1989. That's between 6 and 7 years. We had another one in 94. We went down in 95, 96, 97. We went back to the almost the 94 numbers. Look, we increased in 94, between 94 and 98. Again, it took us a little while to recover. But again, that's something we need to look at very closely on sales tax. We don't expect that in the coming years, but that's something we always look at. Because that's when we have to take drastic reductions in expenditures, and obviously when we reduce expenditures, we reduce service. Building permits between this is between 2006 and 2007, there was a decrease. We had our biggest year was 2004 and 2005, and that's when we had that major expansion that was done at the Sunrise Mall. Building permits between 2006 and 2007, again, it shows that the major decrease there is in new residents, 37.7 million. There was, the positive side here is that we did have an increase in commercial of almost 14 million. But if you look at all the building permits that were issued, we were down 4.3% or 10.1 million. That's in values. Again, now we go into a different fund, the Convention and Tourism Fund. We had a fund balance of 489. This is a different slide here. Let me go into this. This is 2008 budget for the general fund, and that's something we need to look at. We look at it very closely. Right now, we started, again, unofficially at $17.3 million in fund balance. So right now, based on what we have in the budget, we have 83 million plus in revenues. That would give us a little over 100 million in available funds. We have expenditures budget of 85.8 million. We have already come before you just last meeting to have a budget amendment of 2.6 million. The majority of that was for the airport of 2.5 million. So if you look at just budget numbers for 2008, and again, this is strictly what's in the budget, we'll have an ending fund balance at the end of September 2008 of 12 million. Obviously, history has shown that we always surpass our estimated fund balance every year because we tend to spend a little bit less than what's budgeted, and we also generate a little bit more than what's budgeted for revenues. But right now we have about 13.5 million in reserve, and as we are planning to come to you for other budget amendments, that number will again, that percentage will decrease. The Convention and Tourism Fund, between 2006 and 2007, hotel motel tax shows an increase of 44,000. We still need to record some more revenues under the hotel motel tax. We still don't have the final numbers yet, so hopefully that number will increase. But right now the fund balance at the end of 2007 was 489,000. Community development, I'm not going to go into this that much here. This is just a federal grant that we spent on CDBG funds. Non-bonded debt is strictly just for monies that we use for lease purchases. The debt service fund, we have a healthy fund balance of 3.5 million. Again, this fund it generates property taxes to pay debt service requirements on our outstanding debt, which includes notes and certificates of obligation as well as bonds. We had a healthy fund balance again at the end of the year of 3.5 million. And again, this also helps us when we go and issue bonds because the rating agencies want to see us with a positive balance. The landfill tipping fee fund, this fund shows a little decrease between 2006 and 2007 in our fund balance from 1.6 million at the end of the year versus 1.8 a year ago, which is around $246,000. Now this fund generates funds from the landfill as well as garbage fees and the departments that are being charged is the landfill, area maintenance, and all those expenditures that are listed there. This compares 2006 with 2007, and again the number would drop. We dropped 246,319. We still have a healthy fund balance, but just to indicate to you that we did have a decrease. Airport. Looking at airport, this compares 2006 and 2007. You look at the transfers from the general fund between 2006 and 2007. We actually had to transfer $595,000 more into the airport fund than we did in 2006. This fund, we try to keep it in a positive side because we don't want any funds to go under the deficit, and we don't have any funds that are in the deficit side. The bridge fund, this is a history. The bridge was opened way back in 2001, and it shows you the total monies that we receive from the county. The city and the county split half and half of the profits and losses. Fortunately, the bridge has been operating in a profit. So during 2007, we had a 2.7 million generated versus 2.9 million that we had in 2006. 2006 was a better year according to the numbers that we have right now. Again, these are all unaudited numbers. This shows the year 2006 and 2007 between on the transfers from the bridge. We did meet the budget, but there is a decrease between FY 2006 and 2007 by 186,000. Motor vehicle parking system fund, 2006 versus 2007. Revenues dropped by 7,000. Expenses increased by 229,000. We did transfer money to the general fund because this particular fund had monies, and we transferred that to the general fund. In the past, some of the expenses for collections were being done by this particular fund, and that was transferred to municipal courts. And municipal court now, which is funded by the general fund, takes over some of those expenses, and that's one of the reasons why we transfer this money to the general fund. Transit system, we had again, like I say every time I make reports, the transit system in the United States operates at a profit. It's a service to the citizens, and we had a net loss of $2.8 million. The FTA contributes 1/2 of the loss. At the very bottom, we did get money that shows that we got money from the state of $538,000, and the general fund transferred $590,000. And this is just strictly on the operating side. The golf course, again, 2006 versus 2007, there was an increase between 2007 and 2006, and one of the reasons why there's an increase in the revenue side is because the general fund contributed more than the previous year of $115,750. If you recall, at the very beginning of the fiscal year 2007, we allocated funds from the general fund to the golf course to purchase golf carts, and that's the reason why the transfer is higher between 2007 and 2006. On the expense side, we have $124,102, and again, that's because of the golf carts. Employee benefit fund, that's another fund that we need to look at very closely, is the health insurance fund. We monitor this on a regular basis, and we may be making some changes in the future regarding the benefits will stay the same, but more than likely we may have to increase the deductibles as well as the copay, and maybe increase the contributions from the employees. And this gives you a history of since we've been with TML, 2004 all the way to 2007. We did generate funds in 2004 from stop-loss reimbursements, and stop-loss reimbursement, we have specific insurance that we purchase, and every time we have a claim that exceeds a certain amount, then the stop-loss insurance kicks in. And we were fortunate that in 2004 and 2005 we had large refunds from the stop-loss carriers, and that helped the fund. We don't see that. We didn't see that in 2007. The stop-loss reimbursements decreased between the previous years. And this is the workers' compensation fund. We have the reason why we have a workers' compensation fund is because we still, even though we are in the past we were self-funded, and we still have some unpaid claims that we still deal with. Now, today, this current year, we're dealing with fully insured, so hopefully this particular amount will be liquidated in the future. This particular item, it gives you the investments of the city between 2006 and 2007. We are required to present to you of the investments that the city has. We not only invest for the city of Brownsville, we also invest for other component units such as the BCIC, the public improvement, the PID, and the Public Improvement District, and the JIBIC. This particular slide shows you all the interest that was earned by fund. Leading the way was the general fund. We generated an interest of $1,058,000. That's one of the largest ones. Along with that, we also, at the very bottom of that particular slide, shows the component units that we generated revenue for. $1,496,26 was generated in interest income for the component units, and the city funds generated almost $4.6 million. And that concludes my presentation. If you have any questions, happy to answer. Again, this is just an acknowledgement.
This is an action item.
So moved to approve.
We have a motion by Commissioner Cisneros to acknowledge, and second by Commissioner Longoria. Made the motion, Commissioner Camarillo seconds it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Next item, please. Item 20. Yeah, we'll go, right now, let's go 20.
Item 20, consideration and action to authorize change order number 2 for the Taxiway G reconstruction, Taxiway D lighting rehabilitation project at the Brownsville South Padre Island International Airport.
Mayor, members of the commission, the city commission is asked to consider and act on change order number 2 to the Taxiway G project. You may recall the Taxiway G project is an $11 million federally reimbursed project designed to reconstruct a major taxiway on the east side of the airport. The change order is necessary to adjust for changes in quantities. The project is under construction at the present time. We do have representatives from the engineering firm of HNTB here present to address any questions you may have. The total cost of the change order is $296,122, represents just under 2.9% of the total cost of the project, and staff recommends approval.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Longoria, second by Commissioner Troyani. All in favor?
Aye.
Approve. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, Larry. Item number 22, please.
Item number 21, I'm sorry.
No, we did 21, City
No,
Secretary.
We're not gonna go back to public comment, Mayor?
No,
Yes, we will. Item
Item
22.
22, consideration and action to authorize payment of $15,143.43 for renewal of the International Business Machines Corporation Maintenance Service Contract, which supports the Police Department's AS-400 system equipment for fiscal year 2007-2008.
Move to approve.
Second.
A motion to approve
Good job,
by
Commander.
Commissioner Atkinson, second by Commissioner Troyani. Thank you, Mr. Avita.
Happy holidays, folks.
Well spoken.
Happy holidays.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Item number 23.
Item 23, consideration and action to award a contract for operation management services for the recycling center of the city of Brownsville.
Mr. Luna.
Good evening. This item, it is the intent of the city of Brownsville to seek proposals from qualified firms to provide operation management services for the Brownsville Recycling Center located at 308 East Elizabeth Street. In order to expand recycling services throughout the city by placing recycling containers in strategic locations and for special events and to implement a recycling program to educate our community. Therefore, staff recommendation is to award a contract for operation management services for the recycling center of the city of Brownsville to ESD of Olmito, Texas. And there's an agreement attached to the agenda. I can read it.
No, I have some concerns, Mr. Luna.
Yes,
I find it unacceptable. The city of Brownsville is receiving no percentage of the profits. We're not leasing the property. We have a liability issue. There's some problems.
Well, I can address some of these issues. Well, basically, this is an agreement that is basically at the beginning. It will be for the first 6 months. After the 6 months, the contractor and the city will renegotiate an agreement, and we're going to look into negotiate a rental. We're going to do an assessment of the property to be able to come back and have this company to pay the city for the rent of this facility.
Thank you, Mr. Luna. I make a motion that we deny.
We have a motion to deny.
Second.
We have a motion by
You want to table it, Commissioner, or do you want to?
his motion was to deny by Commissioner
no.
Garza and seconded by you. Is that right?
Yeah, but hold on, I'm asking.
Well, we can table it, and actually, I'd like to open it up for other people to, yeah, no, I stand on my motion.
Which is to deny, okay? Yeah, motion to deny by Commissioner Garza
Mayor,
and
Mayor, may I say a few
Mr.
things?
Cisneros, yes.
I apologize, I'm under the weather, but Mr. Luna, you and I have spoken
Yes.
numerous times
That is correct.
on this issue. I'm all in support of it. I know there's one thing specifically that I don't agree with. Well, she's been asked, other companies, like one on 511, pay individuals, nonprofits for their aluminum, their cardboard, things like that. That's always been my concern. For a nonprofit or a resident who takes the time and collects all of their material to be compensated for it. One of the businesses out near 511 pays for 5 different types of plastics. And so, whether it happened right away or not, I really, really would like for ESD to consider being open-minded of doing such a service, because other businesses are doing the same thing. And I think it only just helps her
That is correct.
in her business, because more people are saying, well, guess what? This centralized location, I don't have to go all the way to 511. I can bring it here and get, so much per pound for my plastic or my cardboard, whatever. But I'd like her to make a strong concession to have this in place, because that's been my deal. I know others do it. Hopefully we can get it done with her. And if nothing else, just the service that she'd be providing, if she opted not to, is fine. But, we still want to keep her on board if she's the one selected to do recycling, period.
And part of this program is, it's also to, part of the program is also to have containers within city locations. And not only that, but we're considering this like a pilot program where we're going to come back within 6 months and to renegotiate.
You already have a motion to deny, Mr. Luna. Let's have a vote on it. All in favor to deny?
Let him talk, man.
I think he's repeating himself. You stated that you're going to come back in 6 months.
I'm giving you more information about
Yeah.
the negotiations that
Our recommendation through our purchasing agent is that we work with her for 6 months under the terms that we have identified in this contract.
But you have a motion here to deny it.
Well, can we still talk about it, man?
Okay, go ahead.
Can you wait
Go ahead.
until
Go
we
ahead.
finish
So,
talking?
hold your motion then. Go ahead.
And then come back and renegotiate with her, depending on how successful she is.
Well, I just wanted to be noted too, she came up here last time and said she's doing it for free, what you don't understand. But we all know and I talked to you earlier today,
Yes.
she will be making some money off of this. And for her to say and act like we're not doing the right thing because we're not hiring her right now, that's to me that was uncalled for, because she will benefit financially. Nothing's free in this world, right? I want to make that point.
Commissioner, and another thing to add on to that is, whatever happens in a year or 2 years, there's other communities that do it themselves in-house, and they've done it well, and they've been able to sustain it. If other communities can do so, so can the city of Brownsville. Therefore, we need to be very cautious in what agreements we make, but with the understanding of saying, this is something that benefits all of Brownsville, and so I know we have specialized people to be able to take on such initiative down the road with good, proper planning, strategic planning. I think we can do it in-house. And then, again, ultimately, I think this is going to be some sort of a revenue for the city of Brownsville, and ultimately that's a concern. But to the other side of it is the educational component, which is greatly needed for this community. So I want the city to be self-sufficient in terms of recycling, hopefully real soon.
Okay, since they brought the discussion, this is an opportunity for Brownsville to really start a recycling program citywide, which we don't have. This is a pilot program.
this is the first
We
step.
provide incentives to many companies that come here, either through tax abatements or other incentives, okay, so they can start their business here. In essence, this is what you're doing, okay? It's a big expense just to initiate it. So the right thing to do, if we want to recycle, if we don't want a recycling program, okay, citywide, is to help her, foster her, get her started, make it to where we educate people that it's here, okay, and it's going to stay here. Ingrain it to where it's part of our culture to recycle, okay. Make it a success to where then you move up to the next step, to where you can renegotiate. How much is she recycling? Okay, how can the city join partnership with her, or how can we work it to where it's an arrangement that it's a win-win for everybody? What we're doing here, we're killing a pilot program okay? She's come here 3 or 4 times already. And she's the only one that's responded to the RFPs, the only one.
The only one.
So if this city commission has a better plan, I'm sure everybody in the city of Brownsville would welcome that better plan to get a pilot program started for recycling. I support it. Those who don't, well, then let the record know that the citizens, that we don't have a citywide recycling program because we don't have the vision, we don't have the initiative to do something that changes the way we're doing things and filling our landfill with garbage that can't be recycled. Okay, so
I don't think that's a
your
fair
opinion.
statement.
okay, so well, that's
I mean,
that's
regarding
fine.
the fact that
That's fine.
we all
That's
want
my
what you
statement.
want. We all want what you want. But
Free-
the process of what's going on with the contract, it has to do with contract and what she's gonna get, what the city's gonna get out of it. I don't think that's been really outlined and that's the reason why Commissioner
That's
Commissioner
fine.
Garza is taking a stance,
So that's fine. I respect that.
you know?
Commissioner, I'm not against his vote.
But
I will vote.
you're acting like
okay.
we don't go for this.
No,
or else-
no.
What's wrong?
That's my position, Commissioner. You're entitled to your position. I look at it that it's free to the city because we're not having to pay her to take our trash. We're not having to pay her to recycle this for us. We need, in my opinion, again, Commissioner, this is my opinion, and I'm entitled to that opinion. We need to start a program to where our children can get educated on, our children will help educate the adults, that we have a better way of handling our trash. And it starts with BISD, it starts with city employees, it starts with companies. This is something new here, and it's very risky for the investor who's having to upfront, and it's going to take time to educate people that they can bring the recycled materials, and maybe she won't make any money in 6 months, but it's not costing the city any money.
Okay, but look where we live. Look at the environment we live in. We're a poor city. There's a lot of people out there that recycle themselves, and they do. What's going to happen to them now? Are they still going to be compensated for going out there and picking up all the stuff that they're doing? I mean, that's what we were worried about. I don't care how much money this lady makes. What I do care is that there's other people that go out there willingly to do this. How are they going to be affected? Do you know?
Yes. You open up the market, you open up competition. In other words, if I have copper to sell or if I have glass to sell and I'm selling it to him right now, okay, she better compete if she wants it. She better pay for it if she wants it, okay? That opens up competition. Right now, we don't have a citywide program that can handle what's going into our landfill. It's going into our landfill, and it's something that we have to deal with, and that's the way the future is because other communities are doing it. Now, she's got to open up the markets of the recyclable materials. Not everything is recyclable, or I mean, about 80% of what goes in the landfill is recyclable, but not everything is the market driven to where it's cost effective to recycle. I should put it that way. So you're opening it up to where if this gentleman goes picks up cans and wants those cans, she's gonna have to pay for it.
Wasn't there a marketing study done about basically recycling of tires, the possibility of having a binational accord where there would be a center in Matamoros where they would then bring in tires regionally so that we could produce asphalt. There was talks with commercial entities where they would actually pay us in order to do some of this, and this would be not just tires, but recycling on a larger scale, and it would be a regional. Is that correct? It's my understanding after talking to some of the people at city staff that there's already an analysis that's been done. There's already been discussion about this, and that has kind of just stayed dead in the water. I'd like to see that documentation because it seems like it'd be a little bit more profitable, a little bit more larger scale. It's something that we could look at as a region and not just as, downtown Brownsville or what have you, but we could include McAllen. I think it even included McAllen all the way up to Laredo. Is that correct?
That's the health department that's been involved in that.
Okay, and I think that what we need to do is open up possibly for discussion that issue, and if you can get me that documentation, I'd really appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, you have any more to add?
Well, just to get you more information, this is basically not only for the recycling center, but it's also to have containers in different locations, at the different parks, at different fire stations, different city locations. And the way we style this agenda, and based on the recommendation from staff, it is basically to allow this company, this lady, to 6 months to demonstrate to the city if it's possible. If not, we can always terminate this contract and do an RFP again, and you know.
Mr. Luna, what is your position as staff? You recommend this?
Yes, my recommendation will be.
Let me ask you something. Do we do background checks?
Yes.
Criminal background checks?
I did some background checks. I also check on some of other people that wanted to participate after the fact. You see, we went out for RFPs, and there was interest by this other company, Inland Services Corporation, but during the process, at the end, there was only one company that submitted a proposal. So we received only one proposal, and during the negotiations, then once we.
Mr. Luna, but I think that's what Commissioner Garza had said, that he thought there was other people that were interested in doing this, and we're all in favor of recycling, but he wanted to take a look at, or put it back on the agenda and take a look at other companies.
Absolutely, it's coming up again in April, isn't it? BFI has a.
Yeah, well, that's the residential solid waste collections.
Okay, but it's recycling.
No.
Aren't we paying BFI? What are we paying BFI for?
Currently, we're paying VFI to take over the recycling center, and I believe, according to my notes, we are paying somewhere on around $5,000 per month.
Okay, and I don't agree with that. I think that's unacceptable also.
That's monthly, right?
That's monthly, yes.
About $69,000, I think, total year. Here, with her proposal, it's not gonna cost us 1 cent.
No.
See, that's what I don't
Then
understand.
after 6 months, we can come back and negotiate a rental fee with them, and they're
With
paying
all due
also
respect, Mr. Luna, I think we have a motion and it was seconded.
And the Commissioner's right. We have a motion, we have a second, to deny. All in favor to deny?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Nay.
And all against, all in favor to approve? Aye. No, his vote is to deny. You voted to deny. I make the motion to approve. So I'm the minority.
Is there a
here.
second?
So you say nay?
You can say aye or nay. It makes no difference.
It's a nay.
No, I make my vote was to approve. Okay. So we have, let's count the votes. Mr. Atkinson, you voted to deny also?
I would much rather we table it, but if it's,
But your motion is to.
Charlie?
I'm to deny right now.
Okay, to
We'll bring
deny.
it back.
Okay, so
Deny.
you have 6 to deny, 1 to approve. Okay, let's move on to the next one, please.
I'm gonna also
Commissioner-
go with the mayor on this.
I have you as a nay,
Camarillo's a nay.
too, and I have, Atkinson as a nay.
No,
No, you have them as aye
aye.
to deny.
Yeah.
They made the motion to deny, aye, they all.
Only the mayor and the Commissioner Camarillo
That's correct.
voted,
Thank you, Mr. Luna.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioners. Item number 24.
Item number 24, consideration and action to award a term contract for professional engineering and surveying services on a rotation list for the city of Brownsville.
It is the intent of the city of Brownsville to contract with an engineering and surveying firms on a rotation list to provide engineering and surveying consulting services for the preparation and design of construction drawings for paving and drainage for city streets and drainage improvement projects, as well as other miscellaneous city projects. That requires an engineer and surveyor consulting services. Therefore, staff recommendation is to award a term contract for engineering and surveying services on a rotation list for paving and drainage of streets and drainage improvement projects for a fixed rate of 8.5% of the awarded construction contract amount, which the following firms: Ambutech Civil Engineering of Brownsville, Texas; AGH Engineering and Surveying of Brownsville, Texas, Mejia and Rose Incorporated of Brownsville, Texas, Plager Engineering of Brownsville, Texas, Naismith Engineering of Brownsville, Texas, and the last one, Brown Leal and Associates of Harlingen.
Were these the only ones that wanted to be part of this rotation? There's no other engineering firms that want to be part of it?
Yes, we did receive 8 submittals. Of the 8 submittals, as stipulated on the statements of qualifications, only 6, the highest ranked firms, were going to be afforded a chance to come back with the fixed rate fee or a proposal.
Mr. Luna, is this the order, 1 through 6?
That is correct.
That's what's gonna go by, it's gonna follow the first.
It's going to be based on a rotation, based on the work that we have, you know, like CIP projects for suites or CDBG projects as well. Now, also, these companies will also serve in the capacity of consulting engineers and surveyors on a rotation list based upon additional miscellaneous projects as scheduled by the city engineer. So it's not only for streets. So if we have a need for an engineer or a surveyor, you know, we can always use these rotation lists. And here with me is Mr. Carlos Lastra with the engineering department.
Will the
Any
cost
other
be at 8.5 for each opportunity we're asking them to survey?
That's the percentage fee of the probable
That'll be applied,
construction contract.
so that'll be applied to each job we ask them to consider to.
Yes, that is correct.
I like that. There's one there from Harlingen, Texas. We're bringing them in when there's other Brownsville firms that are...
Gonzalez Engineering and Surveying.
Yes, well, Brown Leal has an office here in Brownsville. They have an office here.
How come Gonzalez Engineering and Surveying is not on the list?
The reason was there was 8 firms that submitted, only 6 were selected. The committee did not rank them as high as the other ones.
Who's in the committee?
You can include all 8 if you want.
This is just a recommendation. I mean, if you want to include...
I guess the question I have is, why are we limiting it to 6?
Well,
I mean, what are the criteria?
That was just a number that we came up with in order for them to have enough work. You know, we didn't want to have so many firms to where they wouldn't have work.
Are you saying it'd be a financial burden on them to do it if it wasn't limited to this, or?
That we might not have enough money to award projects to keep everybody busy.
All of them.
Okay.
We don't have work to
I would
sustain
like
all
to
of
see
them.
all 8 on the list.
We didn't hear you, Commissioner.
Mr. Luna,
Sorry?
What
Mr.
is,
Luna,
what did you,
were the firms aware of this, that only 6 were gonna be selected to begin with?
That was part of the statement of qualification, yes. That was stated on the invitation to submit qualifications.
So then if we go and select all 8, and one of these 6 that got selected, maybe doesn't get picked for a job, wouldn't they be?
Well, they would because it'd be on a rotation.
But here we are saying, they're saying that we might not have enough work for them. So one of these groups that made it to the top doesn't get the job, what are they gonna say to us now? They were one of the 6 that were selected, but now since we selected the 8, what happens to them? That's my
It's going to be
concern.
less.
We'll just have to find the money to get more projects done and award more.
Or assign less projects.
I don't think we guarantee any of them any work.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, there won't be a limitation, then I'll support all 8.
Is that your motion?
Yeah,
Move to
I
approve
make a
all 8.
motion that, I make a motion that we go ahead and approve with the condition that we add, the other 2. A total of 8.
I'll second that.
We have a motion by Commissioner Garza, second by Commissioner Camarillo. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I want to make a clarification. There's only one company that is out of town, Corpus Christi, and I believe the engineering director, he's got a...
Yeah, so, I mean, if we can keep the top 8, is that what you're agreeing to? You keep...
Keeping the top 8.
Top 8,
Okay.
yes.
All right, great.
Okay, we have a motion, a second. All in favor, aye. All against? No, the ayes already voted. All against? Okay. You're for it, right, Commissioner Wood? Okay, so it's unanimous, all ayes. You got that,
Yes.
City Secretary? You got it? Okay. Item 25?
Item 25, consideration and action to award a term contract for geotechnical and material testing services on a rotation list for the city of Brownsville.
City Commissioners, this is basically, almost the same, but this is for geotechnical and construction material testing. Staff recommendation is to award a contract to these three, geotech and construction material testing companies, PSI, Rabba Kisner, and Terracon, for the amount of $4,500 for the services listed on the agenda.
Okay, so a motion by Commissioner Longoria, seconded by Commissioner Atkinson. All in favor, please?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Item 26.
Item 26, consideration and action to award a contract for the purchase, delivery, and installation of 20 complete computer workstations and reserve kits for the Brownsville Fire Department.
Staff recommendation is to award a contract for the purchase, delivery, and installation of 20 complete mobile computer workstation systems and a reserve kit for the Brownsville Fire Department to Motorola, in the amount of $186,182.67. This reflects HVAC contract pricing. Funding is it's available, through Fund 78-860-907, with a balance of $226,000.
Motion to approve.
Oh, wait a second, you got too many over here approving. Commissioner Garza made the motion?
Yes, sir.
What's the matter, Commissioner? Well, I am, but let me sort it out, okay? Commissioner
It's already
Garza
budgeted, right?
made a motion. Now,
2008.
who's gonna second it?
I'll second.
Okay, Commissioner Longoria seconds it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Next item.
Item 27, consideration and action to award a term contract for the purchase and delivery of veteran clinic equipment and supplies for the Brownsville Animal Regulation and Care Facility.
Move to approve.
Second.
Okay, motion by Commissioner Troyani, second by Commissioner Garza. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Oh, no, go ahead.
What would you like to say?
Just to say that this funding is, it will be through a budget amendment from the Finance Department, and it's gonna be at a later date, so we don't have, as of right now, we don't have a funding source.
There's more than one agenda item that has been passed that'll be correct.
That's fine.
Okay. Just
We'll find the money.
wanted to inform that.
So we have a motion, carried
Well, it had already passed unanimously.
Okay. Motion carries unanimously, okay?
Now we just have to find the money, right?
Now, find the money. Item 22, please.
22,
Did we skip 22,
I think we
Mr.
approved.
Secretary?
the public hearing.
No, I think we're back up to 10.
Okay, we're back to, items 10, 11,
10.
12.
Mayor, if I may, real quick, if I could just make, 'cause I wanted to mention something, I had my notes here before, we keep going on. I had talked to Representative Eddie Lucio, 'cause we keep talking about the fence, and this has to do with the fence, I just wanna make a comment. That Representative Eddie Lucio III has drafted a letter that opposes the fence, and he wanted to advise the public that he is testifying tomorrow in the Capitol on the opposition of this wall. He's also taking this letter from the city, from our city, from City of Brownsville, that expresses our opposition to the border fence.
Good.
So he wanted to make that,
Thank you,
read it for the record.
thank you. Okay, 10, 11, 12, 13, we're gonna do, and 14. If you'll excuse me a minute, would you mind taking over, Mayor Pro Tem? We'll start with item 10, please.
Item 10, public hearing and action on first reading of ordinance number 235-2007-056 to rezone from dwelling Z to apartments F classification 3 acres out of Lot 1, Block 10 of El Jardín re-subdivision located at 656 North Minnesota Avenue and Houston Road.
Honorable Mayor Pro Tem, this is the, area shaded in red. In this particular case, the applicant, the Ozanam Center would like to have some transitional housing units. The Plan and Zoning Commission voted unanimously to approve this application to you. This is a public hearing.
Move to close.
Second.
Move to close by Commissioner Camarillo, second by Commissioner Cisneros. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Move to approve.
Move approved by Commissioner
Second.
Camarillo, second by Commissioner Leo T. Garza. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Item 11, public hearing and action on first reading of ordinance number 235-2007-057 to rezone from dwelling Z to general retail G classification, Lot 1 and 2 of Block 107 of original town site located at 7950 Old Highway 77 and near Hargill.
Honorable Mayor Pro Tem, this is the area shaded in red. In this particular case, the applicant would like to have some offices. This is the expressway here, as you can see. The Plans and Commission voted unanimously to approve this application to you.
Move to close.
Move to close public hearing by Commissioner Longoria.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Tarani. All in favor?
Aye.
All against? Motion carries.
Move to approve.
Move to approve by Commissioner Longoria.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Tarani. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Item number 12.
Item 12, public hearing and action on first reading of ordinance number 235-2007-058-S to allow a general retail specific use funeral home in a medium retail on Lot 1, Block 2 of Tandy's Corner subdivision located at 3120 State Highway 100 and near California Road.
Honorable Mayor Pro Tem, this is the area, here, this particular lot, this is a location for a proposed funeral home.
Is this, hold on real quick, this is number 12?
Yes, it is.
I thought that was,
Yeah,
or,
we talked about this.
or pre-mess alcohol, that's the one we're talking about?
Yes.
Okay. Good. I heard funeral.
A funeral home, Highway 100. You have 803 on this side.
A funeral? Funeral home.
Plans of
Funeral home.
commission,
Serve alcohol?
Signs only what?
vote unanimously to approve this application to you.
Close.
Second.
Second.
Move to close by Commissioner Longoria.
Move to approve.
Second by Commissioner Tarani. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Second.
All against? Motion carries.
Move to approve.
Move to approve by Commissioner Tarani, second by Commissioner Cisneros. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
How's business?
Item 13, public hearing and action on first reading of ordinance number 235-2007-059 to rezone from light commercial G to light industrial G classification, 107 acres out of Espiritu Santo Share 22 located at near FM 511 and Old Alice Road.
Honorable Mayor and City Commissioners, this is the area shaded in red here. This is a proposed industrial park owned by the Greater Brownsville Centers Corporation.
It's a what?
Proposed industrial park.
Okay, I heard trailer park.
Industrial park.
Serve alcohol.
Plans and Commission voting unanimously to approve.
Move to close.
Second.
Move to close by Commissioner Cisneros, second by Commissioner Leo T. Garza. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Move to approve.
Second.
Approved by Commissioner Carlos Cisneros, seconded by Commissioner Camarillo. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Conducting business.
Item 14, public hearing and action to acknowledge the Housing and Urban Development Consolidated Annual Performance and Evaluation Report.
Honorable Mayor Pro Tem, City Commissioners, every year, just as Mr. Gonzalez reads the financial statements for the city, we need to read the financial statements for our HUD programs. This is a draft document. It's been out for public comment for 30 days at the library in our offices. Briefly, Robert will go over some of the expenditures that we've made this past year with our CDBG funds, and Allison will talk about housing. This is a requirement. It's a public hearing to solicit more comments if you have anything tonight to add. But Robert, please proceed.
Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem, City Commissioners. The attachment to the agenda form shows a table on the upper section of the page, as you see on the screen, and a chart just below. Also displayed. On the table you will see the grant sources on column number 1, followed by grant amounts in the columns 2 and 3. On column 4 is the total funding available, and column 5 shows the expenditures by grant. The pie chart shows expenditures by category. The largest category of expenditures is the public facilities and improvements, followed by housing, public services, homelessness, and demolition. To make a few comments on the housing category is Allison Bastion.
Honorable Mayor Pro Tem, Commissioners. This is coming up here an overview of how the HUD funds were spent on affordable housing. This is a sheet you should have in front of you. As it says here, we go down the types of affordable rental housing, affordable owner housing, new and rehabilitated, as well as home buyer assistance, coming to a total of 131 housing units and corresponding leveraged funds of $9.05 million. See, we also received a letter today from HUD, commending us for our work, and I believe that's in front of you as well.
Do we know what the numbers were last year?
Actually, no, but I can find out.
And Ben, the only reason why I say it is, again, you know, affordable housing is so essential for the residents out here in Brownsville. And whatever we need to do to ensure that this is always a top priority, affordable housing, but not just housing, but with all the other amenities when it comes to streets, that we constantly put priority in this area. And that we work hard to work together to do that.
Yes, housing is a priority.
That, this is information that we hadn't seen yet.
That's
Is
correct.
this what was being contradicted last week? The performances that were being contradicted?
Well, I think they said there was only 10 houses.
Yeah, well,
last
yes,
year.
there was a report, months ago where there was only 10 houses.
Last
Well-
week, the priest came before us, and they said there was only 10 homes.
Well, I don't think it was a priest, but I remember many months ago, there was,
Or interfaith,
the housing representative or liaison said there was 10 houses. No, that's not the case. These are in our document that we're submitting to HUD. There's a letter sent today, really, of commendation, I guess you could say, applauding the city for our efforts. We have endeavored into new programs that help people with lower incomes, be in decent and affordable housing. Many people cannot be homeowners, but they can rent and should rent a unit that's decent and safe and affordable. And that's what we've done. So we applaud your efforts of giving us support. We applaud the efforts of HUD, working with us, providing us technical assistance, and we have accomplished $131,000. But more importantly, we have leveraged with the $1 million of home dollars that we get every year, $9 million of private investment from the outside into the city of Brownsville. So I commend this commission and the staff for working closely with you all, with the city manager, and with all the other departments of accomplishing this goal.
Thank you, Ben.
Second.
Second.
Move to close public hearing
Second, yeah.
by Commissioner Longoria, second by Commissioner Charney. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Second.
Move to approve by Commissioner Longoria, seconded by Commissioner Cisneros. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Move to adjourn.
Wait, hold on. Before we leave, I want to wish everybody again Merry Christmas. I'd like to give Charlie Kabler a chance to say something, and Estella Van Hatten, Mr. Ayala, and Mr. Goza, if you'd like to say something. We'll start with Estella first, if you want to say something to your staff.
Thank you very
or-
much.
Huh?
Thank you very much. I've enjoyed my work at city secretary's office. It's always very interesting. I enjoy working with each and every one of you, and I wish each and every one of you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and I look forward to a really good year next year. I also want to wish the citizens of Brownsville a happy and prosperous new year, and again, keep patience with all of us here. We are doing the best that we can, both citywide and as staff and as commissioners.
Commissioner, Kabler?
The opportunity, Mayor Pro Tem Atkinson. I wish a Merry Christmas to you all, our employees, all the citizens of Brownsville, all our families. It'll hopefully be a great year. I do believe we had a great year this year. We accomplished a lot thanks to support from you and our staff, all our employees, and we appreciate that, and hopefully it'll continue and it'll be a better year next year.
Sounds great. Hey,
Ayala?
Thank you very much, Mayor Pro Tem. Want to wish everybody out there in our audience, Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Be safe, be well. Look forward to a better year, and I can say that this year's been very exciting to include our city commission. Merry Christmas. And of the 20 years, I think we're all moving in the right direction. And I see a lot of progress and a lot of new things coming down and some big challenges that are ahead of us, and I think together we can handle them. And they're good things. I really feel that for our community. Thank you very much for your support.
Jim?
And God bless you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Same to you.
Jim?
Just thank you for the opportunity to serve the community in my role, and thank you all for your commitment and your service that you give. And I think everyone's expressed a lot of optimism and good faith in going forward, and just look forward to continue to be involved and help out any way I can. And part of my family, I'd like to wish everyone a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year.
I'd like to let everybody at home know that we are doing our best, and hopefully this next coming year will improve in our efforts. With that, I got a motion.
Hold on one second. There was one thing, we were talking about the HUD issue, and I'd kinda like to go back to that. Compliance is such a big part of that. I don't know if maybe next time we can get something on the agenda about having a committee to ensure compliance. And I don't know if Jim can do that, or if maybe Ben could do that. And
I
so
agree with
we,
you, Commissioner, that's again, so badly needed. We need to make sure we're following the rules.
because we wanna make sure that we still have those monies coming in so we can have a better year and go from there.
Acquiesce.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Staff, thank you.
Motion to adjourn.
I think it was done.
Motion by
Aye.
Commissioner Troyani, second by Commissioner Longoria. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Meeting adjourned. Merry Christmas.
Likewise, brother. Are we off?